Hi, I'm Louisa and welcome to our session today. We're going to work on a standing session, and if you wish to, you could use light weights or a resistance band. If you don't have props at home, you could substitute the weights for bottles of water or tin cans, or if you don't have a resistance band, maybe a stretchy scarf or an old pair of tights, but it's fine to do it without the props as well, so use what you've got to hand. So to get started, we'll stand with the legs a little wider than hip width, slightly turned out, so hips, knees, ankles and feet are turned out all on that line. A little bit of awareness through the feet, so perhaps wiggle the toes, shift your weight forward and backwards just a few times from the ankles rather than leaning forward or back from your spine. When you set the feet, try and find some lift through the arches of the feet so we're not rolling in or out. Length through the legs without locking into the knees. Maybe we can lengthen and even up that distance rib to hip. Let the shoulders, collarbones soften and widen, and the neck and the crown of the head begin to lengthen. So once you've got all of your body weight stacked up, it might feel good just to shake up the arms, shake up the shoulders, perhaps take a few shrugs or circles of the shoulders without letting the neck and head sink down. So keep that sense of length up and out through your spine and the crown of the head throughout. So we're just going to do a very gentle movement to get warmed up now. So take whatever elements of this feel good for you. So first off, you could just gently begin to swing the arms. That might be where you stay today. Otherwise, you begin to just gently turn the upper back, neck and head as you let the arms begin to swing with you. So just a gentle rotation. You're not forcing, just kind of loosening. You might want to keep it here and you keep the hips square. Otherwise, if it's comfortable for you to hover one heel and turn in at the hips, you can just kind of take that spiral throughout the body if you like. So just to kind of loosen any tension, get moving, and just finding that ease and rotation as we go. So just a couple more here. And then you can begin to slow things down. And once you come back to a standstill, if this wider stance is more comfortable for you, that's fine. Otherwise, you could come to more of your parallel hip width position. Still that strong foundation of your feet, stacking up all our body weights and with our neutral pelvis. So we take a moment to breathe. You could have hands on the side of the rib cage, or perhaps you wrap the band around the back of the ribs, or you might prefer one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. So just softening the shoulders and lengthening the neck and checking we've not locked into those knees while we settle here. So just taking a few moments to come into your breath, taking an inhale through the nose and then an exhale through mouth. Inhale through nose and then exhale through mouth or through nose. So as you settle into your breath, begin to notice how it feels and how you feel. Trying to find that expansion of breath side to side, front to back and top to bottom as you breathe in, and that softening as you breathe out. And then once you've settled into that, on your next exhale, you can begin to make that more gentle, conscious connection to your center. So that scoop in and up of the tummy, and as you inhale, just gently releasing that down. So as you next breathe out, everything starts to soften anyway. You have that more conscious connection to your center. So maybe you incorporate pelvic floor from back to front and up and the tummy, or perhaps you focus on one or the other. So just finding a really gentle connection. We're not super tensing or clenching. It's just that gentle drawing in and up inside to help you find that length and support. One or two more. You can release the arms, hands whenever you're ready. Take a little shake out again if you need to. And then we're going to grab your props. So I'm going to use the weights to start with, but I'll show you how you could incorporate both. So if you're holding your weights, and these are, you could use 0.5 kilogram, 1 kilogram, possibly more as long as your technique is good. You're going to have elbows tucked into your waist, arms at a right angle. And if you are using the weights, just careful that the weight of them doesn't pull your wrists out of alignment. You want to keep the hands in line with your forearms. So collarbones nice and wide, neck nice and long. And we're going to dumb waiters. So you can begin to open as you inhale, exhale to return. So we're not leaning back from the spine at all. You're moving from the front of the shoulder, just gently opening the chest. The elbows and wrists are following rather than leading. So you just begin to inhale to open and exhale to come back. So you could stay with your weight, so just in case you're using your band today, I'll show you how you can incorporate that here. So the band would wrap around the back of the rib cage, elbows still tucked in, forearms up, and same idea, you just open as you inhale, exhale to come back. So whatever prop you're using, we'll stay with this and add a few variations. So one variation could be that you open one arm as you turn your head away as you inhale, exhale to come back. So you open the arm as you turn your head away and then come back. So we've got that length and that chin tuck. So inhale to open, exhale to come back. Inhale to open, exhale to come back. If you have the band, we'll make it a little baggier now. You're fine to stay as you are with your weight. So you just want it baggy enough that you could extend the arms forward. So I'm still starting in that dumb weighted position, but I'm going to offer the arms forward. So the next time we breathe and center, we offer the arms forward without tensing shoulders. Inhale as you open. Exhale, draw the elbows back in as if you're squeezing something under your armpit. Maybe you find more length through the neck, and then return. So exhale, we offer. Inhale, we open, keeping the spine steady. Exhale, elbows into waist, lengthening through spine and neck, and then return. So you can begin to offer, exhale, inhale, open, exhale, draw in, inhale, return. We'll do one more. So offer, open, drawing in, finding length, and then return. And then we'll pop down whatever prop you've been using just for a moment. And we can just bring fingertips really lightly to shoulders, elbows soft. If you prefer, you could have hands across your chest. We're going to keep the hips stacked, so the legs can stay as they are. We can just do a gentle rotation for the thoracic spine, so ribs, neck and head. Arms will follow rather than lead. So you can inhale, find that sense of length. Exhale as you gently center and just let the ribs, neck and head begin to turn without forcing. We'll come back on an inhale. So exhale, ribs, head, neck as you rotate. Inhale to come back again. If you feel it's hard to keep the pelvis steady, maybe imagine the pelvis just shifting towards the other side, and then hopefully it will be easier to keep that on that straight and narrow. So just a couple more, just trying to let the ribs move, neck and head and arms just follow, keeping your gaze level. Do one more each side. So exhale as you spiral, inhale to come back, exhale as you spiral, inhale to come back. And when you're ready, we'll just return to the center. You can soften arms, we go out through shoulders, shake out legs if you need to. So we're going to just work biceps and triceps now, and I will show you the options with the weights and with the bands. So I'll start with the weights again. So we'll stay standing in our parallel position. Elbows can be tucked into your waist and forearms forward, still mindful of the alignment through the wrist. So you could stay with a simple bicep curl, just bending elbows and extending, but you're keeping the control and not letting the weights kind of drag you into a locked arm position at all. So you could begin that as you exhale, inhale, extend. If you wish to add on, you start with your bicep curl, and I'm just very slightly turning forearms and hands inwards a little, then I'm going to extend the arms up without hunching the shoulders. So I'm keeping that sense of arms drawing into the shoulder joint and free around the neck. And then you slowly drag the arms back so the elbows tuck into waist, and then you extend. So you come into that curl, extending, dragging it down and extending. You could begin that. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Don't really mind too much with the breath here, as long as you're stabilizing and not holding your breath. So you stay with your version with the weights. I'll just show you an option with the band in case that's what you're using. So if you're using the band, we'll just step into it to anchor it with your front foot. So I'm still hips square, okay? Just one leg is in front, just as an anchor point for your band. Try not to lock out either knee, and you'll hold the band little finger side of your hand. Just kind of find the appropriate amount of tension for you. Elbows tucked in, and you can still work on your bicep curl here. Unless your band is really long, this is probably where you'll stay with your bicep curl. And we can aim to do about 8 to 10, whichever version you're doing. Great. So then the next option we'll work on is standing triceps. So again, I'll show you band and weights. So start with the weights. Hands will come to hips, elbows back. Okay, so I'm trying to take the arms back, they're not winging out to the side. You're still standing tall without poking that head forward. So hug the elbows back and then you'll extend the arms behind you. So that upper arm will stay really still. You can exhale to bend, inhale, return. Now try not to just swing the entire arm, so that top part of your arm stays still and you're just bending and extending from the elbow. If you're using your band, you can anchor it in the other foot now, so just switch over that staggered stance. So otherwise, still hips square, try not to lock out either knee. You might prefer to hold your band from the thumb side of your hand now, and again, just adjusting for the tension that works for you. Hands still on hips and elbows back. Either upright or with a very slight hinge forward of your spine, you still extend the arms behind you. So upper arm stays still. I'm not winging out to the side. I'm trying to keep those elbows hugging back. And as before, you can aim for around 8 to 10 of those. Great. So once you're done, you can release any props. You might appreciate a little shake out from the shoulders, and we'll just get our foundation set up to add a little more. So I'm going to stand in parallel. If you need a prop, hand on the wall or a chair or perhaps a roller, that's fine. We'll start with our heel raises, lowers and knee bends in parallel, and then option to transition to a turned out, more plie position. It might be you prefer to stay in parallel, and that's fine. If you're not using a prop, we'll have hands on your hips, waist long. Step through the feet, check we're not rolling in or out or locking in those knees. So as you breath and center, we just hover up onto the balls of the feet. Inhale, lower heels, keep the head reaching up. Exhale, upright knee bend. Inhale to lengthen. Okay, we'll try a couple of those. So you can exhale to glide up. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, upright knee bend. Inhale to lengthen. So stay with that if you need to. Otherwise, next time when we're hovered up, we're going to transition to a sort of turned out position, a Pilates stance. So as you breath and center, you could begin to hover. Optional, you begin to turn out from the hips so that the heels come closer together. They maybe connect. Then you lower the heels without the feet rolling in. So we're in this turned out Pilates stance position. Optional knee bend, still keeping hips, knees in line with probably second or third toe and spine upright. And then you inhale to lengthen. Then we can rise up from here, then return the legs to parallel, lower heels, and you can do your knee bend from there. So we're just transitioning from that parallel position to turn out, and then that turned out position to your parallel position. See how it goes. Really checking hips, knees, and feet stay aligned wherever you set them to. And just noticing how different it might feel around the hips, around the glutes as you explore that narrow turned out position. Good. When you next finish in parallel, we'll pause there. We're going to just check in with our Pilates squats. So you might prefer the version that might be more familiar if you attend classes is with me, is sometimes we sink back and let the arms come forward as you exhale. Inhale, chest expansion. Very welcome to stay with that if you like. If you've got weights, option to have your weights just close to your chest without hunching up shoulders. So it might be you place them slightly different to me. It might be you prefer one weight as opposed to both, or you could have your hands to chest if you're not using your load here. So we're starting parallel, and we're still going to work on our chair squats, but keeping the hands and weights close to chest. So inhale to lengthen, exhale as you sink back, weight onto the heels towards your chair squat position, and then inhale to stand tall. We'll do about 5 of these. So exhale as you sink back, inhale to stand tall. So spine, neck, and head really neutral. We'll weight into the heels as you sink into your hips. So you might prefer to stay with more of your squats in parallel as opposed to some of the add-ons we're going to work on. Otherwise, we'll head up, and I'm going to stand with the legs a little wider than hip width, slightly turned out again. So kind of where we started off with earlier on today. Check the feet aren't rolling in or out. You could be with or without your weights. I'm going to just keep hold of them for now. So we're going to take a wide turned out knee bend. So as you breath and center, softening hips, knees, ankles, so the knee should still be tracking over second or third toe and spine is upright. You inhale to lengthen. So see how this feels. You might prefer to have the legs wider or narrower than me. Either you stay with this, or perhaps as you raise up, maybe you add a little heel lift. Perhaps when you've bent the knees, maybe you add a heel lift. So that's just optional. Just we'll have a little play with that and our stability. Now just breathing, centering throughout. Generally I sink down. As I exhale, you could inhale, hover, lower, and then rising back up. And you might want that exhale for more stability if you're adding your heel raise here. Good, very nice. And then we'll park the idea of the heel raises. The option will stay in this wide turnout stance as you add a hinge of the spine forward. So weight still into heels, maybe you have hands or weights to chest. So you inhale to lengthen, and I'm still sinking kind of towards my chair squat, but I'm in this wide turned out position. Inhale as I stack back up from here. So breath and center, hips, knees and ankles stay aligned. Inhale as you glide up. We're just trying 2 or 3 more. Great. Very nice. And you can come back up to standing. You might wish to shake out the legs a little, release the arms, shake out those shoulders. We've got a couple more exercises which you can do with weights or band again. I'm going to start in parallel. If you're using your band, you could wrap it around your waist, around your ribs like we did with the dumbwaiter and server tray position. Otherwise, we'll stay with the weights, or you could do it without any prop at all. So this one is arm openings or flies. I'm going to come into a bit like a bear hug position. Hands in line with breastbone, shoulders soft, arms slightly rounded. And you can inhale, begin to open, broadening chest and collarbones, and then exhale to close. Keeping your spine steady throughout. Okay, so you're keeping the same shape of your arms. I'm going to do around 5 here. And then either you stay upright, or you might wish to come into perhaps your squat position, whether you're parallel or whether you're in that wider turned out shape. So I'm going to come into that shape first, just settle in, then set up the arms, hands in line with breastbone, neck and shoulder long, and same idea, you could inhale as you open, exhale to close. I'm going to do around 5 here. If you need to come up or adjust the position, that's fine. Spine long, center engaged. If you have got the weights, before you come up, bring them close to your chest, center engaged as you stand tall. And then you can come back towards parallel, take any little shakeouts or wiggle through the shoulders that you need. And then we're going to do a version of backstroke arms. It's like a scissor of the arms. Again, we'll stay upright and then option to add a hinge forward if you wish. So you can begin to glide, arms up in line with shoulders, so they're longer now without locking elbows. Still center engaged, and as you breath and center, one arm will lower as one arm will rise. So one arm's ribcage closure, other arm down by your side. Inhale back, in line with shoulders, and then exhale to switch. So with the arm rising up, we're not letting it creep up towards the ears. We're keeping the spine super steady. It's not like the arm swing that we did earlier. So you might have to put the brakes on to keep that control a little bit. So stay upright, or if you wish to, whether you're parallel or whether you prefer that wider stance, sinking back towards your chair squat position, settle the arms, length through the neck, and you could do your scissor here, okay? It might be you want to widen out the arms a little. It might be that you prefer to come into that narrower stance where the legs aren't in the way. And you could try and do at least 5 exchanges here, still keeping that spine super steady. Lengthening through the neck, good alignment through the arms. And then when you're ready to come up, hands to chest, and you can stack up from there. So I'm going to pop the props out of the way now. We'll just settle in standing, a little wider than hip width, slightly turned out, not quite as wide as we perhaps were before. Shake out through the arms, lengthen through the neck. We'll do a gentle side reach, but really just let the arm and shoulders soften, and then we'll add the option of a floating arm here. So lengthen and stacked up as if we're between 2 planes of glass. So inhale, find length, and then exhale, just shift over to one side. You might want to shake out this arm a little. Lengthen as you stack back to the center. So inhale, length, exhale, shift over, maybe shaking out this arm. Other one soft too. Lengthen back to the center. Stay with that if you like. Otherwise, you could do your floating arm on an inhale. Exhale up and over. Other arm can stay soft. Breathing into there as we find that sense of length. Let's do that on the other side. Inhale up, exhale over. Other arm soft. Breath into there. Let's do one more each side. Inhale up, exhale over. Lengthening, breathing down that whole side of the body. Other one, inhale up, exhale over. Lovely. And then we'll come to parallel. Couple of options here, either a standing cat or a roll down to finish off. If you have osteoporosis or certain types of low back pain, you might just prefer to stay working with that squat position that we've done a lot of. Another option is you come to like a mini squat position. I'm just placing hands on thighs, not knees. Tummy scooped, and you could begin to just curl your spine towards a cat shape on an exhale and keeping the knees soft. Inhale, you lengthen either to neutral, or some of you, you might like to add a little bit of extension, just shining your gaze and breastbone forward. So this, you might want to stay here. So exhaling on an inhale, so exhaling as you round and inhaling to perhaps extend. When you're ready to come up, find neutral and stack back up. And for those of you that a roll down is comfortable, you could always come against the wall, or you could stay freestanding, but we'll keep the knees soft. So really planting those feet down. Inhale, lengthen, chin tuck. Exhale, begin to peel down one vertebrae at a time. Tummy scooped up and over. When you can't go any further from your back, keep those knees soft and let that pelvis tilt forward around your thighs. You may wish to shake out the head, shake out the arms. Just breathing, centering throughout. Keeping those knees soft. Center engaged, begin to stack back up from your pelvis, low back, mid back, upper back, neck and head. We can do one or two more, whether you're doing your standing cat or your roll down. The inhale, lengthen, chin tuck, begin to wheel and peel that spine down, keep those knees soft, that center engaged. Once you get where you're going, maybe you shake the head, shake the arms. Big breath, strong center as you begin to uncurl. Keep that head heavy if you can, almost until last you stack up tall. We'll do one more. So inhale, lengthen, and begin to chin tuck, peel and softening down as you exhale. Still keep those knees soft. Center engage, let that pelvis pivot forward around your thighs. Shake out if you want. And then strong center as you stack back up. Finding even more length. So coming up for air, you might wish to move through the shoulders, shake out the legs. And if you'd like to, we'll do a neck stretch. So opposite hand, opposite shoulder, free arm heavy, other shoulder soft. Lengthen chin tuck and just tilt your head away from your hand. You might want to turn, drop your gaze, see how it feels. And then return back to the center as you stack up, shake out. Other side, so hand just towards opposite shoulder, the other shoulder still soft, neck long, free arm is heavy, so lengthen chin tuck, tilt your head. Maybe you stay with the tilt and take a few breaths. You might wish to turn your head, drop your gaze, see how it feels. And when you're ready, just slowly unravel, stacking yourself back up, release, shake out in any way you like. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found it helpful. Any questions, let me know, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye.